I mean, I made the case yesterday really for making the real-time forecasts, and as I said, we've been exchanging these for a number of years now, but it's totally informal at the moment, and you know, if we're going to be serious about decadal prediction, we need to formalize that kind of real-time forecast process. So we need to get WMO approval, and the idea is to follow the protocol that's already in place for seasonal forecasts. And as part of that, there'll be a need, obviously, to extend the variables that we currently exchange. So at the moment, we have annual mean fields of temperature, pressure, rainfall, and the overturning circulation, but I think we'll need to extend that to look at probably monthly data, and we'll also need some assessment of the skill of this system. So we'll need to look at that. We'll need to have the hindcast data, or at least some skill assessment as well involved in this. So I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Does anyone have any suggestions or questions or anything about that idea?
Just a clarification, so this is like a data repository?
Well, it'll be data, and it'll be, so you can actually look at what the forecasts are. So the same as with the seasonal, you can select a variable and plot the forecast.
So in the IRI, for example, which I'm familiar with, there is actually tools that help you understand the forecast, like different probability, presenting the results in terms of probabilities and whether they think they have skill or not, etc.
Yeah.
So is that going to include something of that sort?
Yeah, it's intended that you can look at the skill and what the forecast is in those ways as well, yeah.
Like, does this mean there'll be national production centers, whatever they're called, for seasonal forecasting?
Yeah, that's the way it goes. So people that make the forecast, they're called global producing centres, and they submit the data to the lead producing centre, or whatever it's called, which displays them on the website.
What about everybody else? What about everybody who participates in your current exchange?
So I think the idea is that they would become these, global producing centres in some sense. It's just, I don't know, it's just a term that means that they produce the forecast, the decadal forecast in this way, and submit it to the lead centre for display, and submit the data for skill assessment, etc. And it would have to be done within a more formal time frame. At the moment, we've been aiming to exchange this data by March each year, and lots of groups have managed to do that, but not everybody. So I think when it becomes a proper WMO sort of operational activity, it would have to be within that timescale.
So how is this different from efforts like at the UKMO and other places that are doing these as part of a national climate services activity? In fact, how many, like Germany has a climate services activity, right? But do they use decadal climate predictions for part of that? I mean, do you have a feeling for how many climate service activities are actually using decadal climate predictions?
Not many, I don't think. I think Paco knows more about that than me, but I mean, the idea, Wolfgang wants to.
Well, Germany says I'm not the one promoting the forecasts. In this part of simply the science institution, which is the LDI.
Do they use the decadal climate predictions as part of their climate service?
Not yet. I think they have not much experience. So it's something that starts up right now.
Is it a MICLIP project?
Yeah, it's a MICLIP project. But I can assure you there's no one in Germany who has really good experience. No end user using this data now. Maybe in 5 years.
Can I
Yeah.
What's the target of putting that? I guess it will be publicly available to everybody who would like to. What's the target? Because if the target is sharing things among us, that's fine. If it's, giving to the outside world to be identified, these are actual decadal forecasts. Well, I know we within IPSL we discussed a lot, should we send data to this or not? And there's a big debate. I
Okay.
think probably we should discuss it here, is that
Right.
we know today this is, I think, pre-experimental. It's not even experimental. Still, so there's always a risk by making this more permanently public that it can be misused, or it can be backfire to us with a summer barbecue. Or so how do we deal with this? I mean, if we all imagine all models say the next 10 years is going to be 0.2 degrees colder and a huge heat wave over the US, and how do we deal with sending that message to the outside world? I mean, that to me it's a slight worry.
So Paco, do you want to comment on that with regard to seasonal forecast? I mean, it's the same sort of situation there, isn't it?
Seasonal forecast is different, I think.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron.
Seasonal forecasts which get submitted to the lead center are not public.
Okay.
They are only meant for the Met services.
So you have to have a password to
You have to have
access
a password, and the request of the password has to come from a Met service representative.
it. Okay.
None of those forecasts or data sets are public.
Not the focus, but the IRI.
These are not operational. These are the operational centers sending their monthly forecast to a particular place. There's nothing to do with IRI.
No, but I'm saying in the case of the IRI, the data, whatever you do with the data, you put it to some processing.
Data is not going to IRI.
What's it?
Data is not going to IRI. The seasonal forecast data as part of the WMO infrastructure is not going to IRI.
So what is going? What is going to IRI?
What's the IRI? I don't get it. Where's the IRI coming from?
They have an insult.
They can do whatever they want. This is a different WMO infrastructure. IRI is not even a member of WMO.
I don't think you're right.
Oh, I'm right. IRI is not a member state of WMO.
No.
Paco.
The difference is that people voluntarily send their Neo 3.4 SSTs to IRI. So
Yeah, they can send it
individually-
independently.
This is an individual initiative.
Correct.
WMO has nothing to do with that.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, nothing
And,
to do with IRI.
The WMO initiative, which is the one that is Decadal prediction exchange with Mimic, in principle, is something that is completely regulated by WMO. It's run by operational in the sense of recognized by WMO institutions.
It could have different requirements.
And
Different from seasonal.
the requirements are defined by providers themselves.
Correct.
Which the first thing is to be recognized as a provider, which is not obvious because some of us are not operational institutions from the WMO perspective. But that's
Right.
something that we have to make clear. It's up to us to define this thing. But the model that I've understood that the Commission of Climatology wants to follow is the one that is used for the lead center of multimodal ensemble forecasting for the seasonal timescale.
It's not decided what the protocols for the Decadal would be, but if it happens, somebody has to decide the list of requirements to be recognized as a global producing center for the Decadal forecast, similar to the global producing center for the long-range forecast. And then you have to decide on the data distribution policies, or who gets the access or who does not get the access.
So who's kind of running this WMO project?
Well, there isn't one of them. There's been a submission to WMO to consider this for support. That's as far as it's got at the moment.
Who
And
submitted that?
so it was Richard Graham from the Met Office. So he's kind of, yeah.
This was actually discussed at the JSC meeting in Geneva. And it was, yeah, and then the idea, Adam brought this thing up, and I think it was a go-ahead as far as I can tell.
In fact, it's Doug pushing for it.
Well,
Med Office.
Yeah.
So there's two things here. One of them is public service, which is something else. But there is also a research issue. If we want, I think from my opinion at least, if we want to open results of Decadal prediction to the larger scientific community, not only to the people who actually are running these forecasts, and for doing research, for helping in a coordinated way, of course, I mean, not out of the blue, then that would be a very positive thing in a project like this, in a project where it's like a MIP, right? Or
Yeah, the seasons.
Yeah.
That's already what we did.
So
Okay, so there's two
setting aside the issue of the public display of the results, there is also the research. So that WMO is not intended for the research community.
It's just intended to make it a more formal process so that, because at the moment it's very ad hoc and what we exchange is very minimal. So it's to formalize it and extend the list of variables and make sure that we have proper quantification of the skill and that sort of stuff and make sure everything's available in one place.
But that doesn't distract from the research branch. You might say there's two branches, right? Official WMO forecast, and whatever else we like to do with our forecast.
Yeah.
You don't seem to be sure.
Yeah.
There are two branches in the seasonal also.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
One is what WMO and the other people who do it independently on their own.
Yeah, so maybe Arun or George, you remember, people have made this connection. I mentioned this that 30 years ago the ENSO prediction community was kind of at the same state. There were a number of groups making predictions kind of for fun, and then they decided, well, let's see how we're all doing, and they started exchanging a few variables. Then how do you know how that evolved? How did that evolve from that kind of for fun stage, which is kind of where we're at, into something that was really operational? Yeah, just depressing. Yeah, when it's something. Do you guys know how that works?
The WMO thing started in 2005
For
for the season, and the idea was to put a set of requirements which operational centers have to pass to recognize as a global producing center. So it's not a very stringent requirement, but it has a time. And you have to release the forecast at a certain time. And
that was 2005. That was 20 years after they started.
yeah, so it happened 20 years after the experimental ENSO forecast.
Doug's paper was 2007, and Old's was 2008. I mean, we're only 8 years into this.
So it was just an extension of.
That doesn't mean we have to wait 20 years though. And I think it's important to start archiving these actual forecasts, really archiving them because.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the WMO thing makes it more official, I think. Right?
Yeah.
But again, I mean, to what purpose? This is where I'm confused because if it says operational, that means it's for specific customers. So what's...
Well, we need to position ourselves for when there are customers, so we need to start doing this thing and archiving the results, and formalising the informal exchange we've already got, and so that we can build towards this global framework for climate service thing, whatever that will turn out to be. So we're kind of positioning ourselves to be ready to support that. John?
Right, so I guess a bit of a solution. It would be good to set the historical record that it's set. If you do this too late, then you really don't have a benchmark to go back on.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense to me.
I think the argument that it's not good now is in fact the wrong argument. Because what you want to do is document that it's not good now so you can show that it gets better. That it gets better. That's very important.
It is good.
It's not perfect, but it's yeah, there's something.
We don't want to let something be the enemy of the good. Whatever
Yeah.
that expression is.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect is the enemy of the good.
Perfect
Yeah.
is the enemy of the good. Okay.
Okay.
Seasonal
Thank you.
environment is not part of CMIC. It's an operational program. Any investigator wants to do a cross-model, cross-center, cross-model comparison of the forecast, CMIC forecast. They can't do it.
Well, that's just going to be the same for DCPP, right?
No, DCPP is going to be a CMIC 6 activity.
Yeah.
So it'll be open. right?
Yes, exactly.
Which
So-
is different than the seasonal environment. If it requires a password for me to
No.
get the information,
No. It requires a password if you want to go to the official WMO site. But the ESGF, which we hope is going to solve all our data problems, will be open.
But this will formalise the process so that this thing's an ongoing, so everybody updates their forecast every year. If you just do the CMET 6 thing, then it still might stop making forecasts.
Okay, any final comments on Doug?